the prices of uncommons so high these days? Into the Flood Maw is a $6 uncommon that was previously 40 cents, but thanks to the rise of Is It Prowess in Standard, this is the best answer this deck has to anything. Another uncommon skyrocketing in price is Stock Up. Standard legal as well in a combo there, but has a lot of playability in many other formats. In this video, I wanted to go over why that is, why it's so good in your constructed and in your 100 card formats, and what justifies the price of such an expensive uncommon. To get a good gauge of why Stock Up is good, let's read it. Blue and 2 for a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the rest at the bottom of your library in any order. No scrying, no drawing of any sort. It is just putting cards in your hand. So notably, this does get around Orcish Bowmasters. Now, on rate for it, it allows you to spend 3 mana and select, take away the 3 worst cards and find your 2 best cards. Ideally, you're playing this in a high quality deck, because in a quantity deck, you're probably playing some type of draw engine, but in a quality deck where you're looking for specific key pieces, Stock Up is going to allow you to go deep to find those options. Notably, the biggest comparison that a lot of folks were making when this card started really entering the rounds or the front face for a lot of people was Divination. For the same mana cost, you are drawing 2 cards, which is literally just worse, because those 2 cards are random cards that you have no selection over. At least the top 5 gives you more options. Yes, those are also equally random cards. They could equally also be 5 lands, but the chances of those 5 cards being all of them being lands versus the top 2 of your deck being lands is just a lot less in terms of likelihood. So again, Divination is a lot worse. It is just a strict upgrade for Stock Up to be this card. Now, notably, the strict upgrade conversation kind of falls apart when it comes to like Pauper legality. So of course, we don't need Stock Up in Pauper. I think this card would be a little too powerful for that format. So let's leave it where it is. But kind of reasonably so, because it is a high quality grabber. It is a card that's being risen in price over time. So kind of debuting at 30 cents. I managed to pre-order this at like $1 a copy, and I have 4 copies. That's all I need. I kind of put them in a variety of commander decks, but it's gone up to $10 roughly. So foil copies are super expensive. Maybe I should have bought foils and spec'd on them or something, but regardless, Stock Up is a high quality card that looks for high quality cards, and I wanted to showcase where this card is being played. So notably, we have to take a look at Standard, and in a metagame where you have to be faster, it's really just about playing Is It Prowess or beating Is It Prowess. And when it comes to aggressive metagames like this, a lot of you Pauper watchers might actually remember our previous metagame where Burn was all over the place alongside Basking Broodscale, which is part of the Infinite combo. You either played combo, which was faster than Burn, that had some level of resiliency, or you just played Burn, right? And so part of that metagame kind of aligns with what's going on here. You have aggro, you have Azorius Omniscience, you have some amount of tempo as well, but largely it's Is It Prowess. And so in the Azorius Omniscience list, you're playing Stock Up as a quality card that finds other quality options. Really what you're looking to do is Abuelo's Awakening, return target artifact or non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with X additional 1/1 counters, whatever. Really what you're looking to do is play some amount of ways to discard an Omniscience, put it into your graveyard, and then you Stock Up to try and find an Abuelo's Awakening. What's nice about it, you're able to dig. By the time you cast your second copy of Abuelo, you should have found an Omniscience to at least grab and then maybe discard, if not drawing through all your cards and discarding an Omniscience into your yard to then find an Abuelo to get out with it. Regardless, you're cheating out Omniscience, and once you have Omniscience and like 3 to 5 cards in hand, you'll probably find a way to win the game. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't know how to win the game at that point, like you're going to draw some cards, you're going to play some threats, you're going to wipe the board. When all your spells are free, you can figure it out from there. So Stock Up is part of a key Standard combo piece right now that boasts the ability to be able to win in a lot of high pressure situations against the aggro decks. And notably against in the Montreal RC that recently just happened, it won first place 14-3 with Azorius Omniscience, including 2 Stock Up here, maybe not the full playset. Decks are playing some range of 2 to 4 copies, largely 4. This deck notably playing 2 is kind of interesting, but regardless, high quality card finding, high quality cards. In the modern metagame, it's a little bit different. Now, notably, I don't have a lot of knowledge of the Pioneer metagame, so I didn't want to speak on them too much here, but in the modern metagame, you actually don't see too much play of it because there are just other high quality options or better ways to find your cards. The problem is that in Standard, your cards are so low quality that you need to be able to dig for the high quality ones. And in older formats like Legacy, which we're going to touch base on, the cards are generally really extremely high quality, where like everyone has good cards, but some cards like stick out really well that you need to find them. So it's like a weird different level to standard. But in modern, cards generally have like an equivalent amount of quality based on the strategy that they're playing in. Like they're really good in their strategy, if not compared to other kind of decks. And so with that in mind, there are cards that are really efficient at what they're already doing. With Boros Energy at the top of the metagame, you can expect combo decks to be there as well. Notably, that's why Belcher and Ruby Storm are at the top of the metagame, having good matchups against Energy. Notably with that, the Belcher deck is probably the first inclination of a strategy that you would imagine plays stock up. The problem is Belcher is actually just really good at what it does. It doesn't have the slots for something like stock up. If it didn't have the alternative plans in the way it was able to recur like the kind of Moxes, that the Mox Tantalite and everything, like if it didn't have ways to like do all that, not Mox Tantalite, I'm just gonna click in just so I'm not like misspoken, but it's Lotus Bloom, not Mox Tantalite. The way it's able to recur Lotus Bloom with something like Tameshi, like if it didn't have those options, it would probably be playing stock up. Stock up at the end of the day is just going to be able to find any card in your deck. This deck plays no lands, so you're just going to be pure gassing it up, grabbing any one of your lands that you can cast later down the line, your Belcher, whatever it is. It just doesn't have the slots for it. There are 1 to 2 lists that you'll see every so often in the 5-0s that will play stock up. It's just not stock in the Belcher decks. The type of deck that does play it though is Jeskai Control, and it's nice in the control decks because it helps you find the piece you need against that matchup, whether it be single target removal, whether it be Teferi against control, whether it be Solitude to get rid of a key piece, maybe something like Wrath of Skies to get rid of a wide board. Stock up allows you to get there. And so that's why stock up tends to be somewhere in the range of 2 to 4 copies in these Jeskai kind of red, blue, X based control strategies. Honestly, they really are just Jeskai. The red splash is for threats and or removal. So really it should be blue, white X, if I'm going to be completely honest. But regardless, stock up is great in these type of decks, especially if you get into that niche scenario where you on top of the Teferi Time Raveler, you can cast it at instant speed. Instant speed stock up is the bee's knees. If I can say so myself. Now that is the modern metagame, not a big house for it, but a lot of playability in standard right now, especially again winning a recent RC that just happened with on the back of stock up, even though it's only 2 copies in a deck that usually plays 3 to 4. Stock up is pretty good. Now when it comes to legacy, this is a broken metagame. This is a metagame that as recent BNRs have said, tries to imitate a balanced metagame. Yes, you don't see a deck that's over largely 10%, but that doesn't mean certain decks aren't putting pressures onto things. Now notably, they've tried to ban the Dimir decks 3-4 times. I think it's like 2 to 3 times actually at this point, and nothing's happened. We just put slaps on the wrist. Dimir Reanimator's still up there. Dimir Temple's still up there. The Dimir players are still forcing it. Now notably, does this mean Reanimate gets banned? Who knows? That's a whole different discussion. The Dimir decks actually aren't really playing stock up. They can, are they? No. Stock up where it is being played largely, in my opinion, yes, some of these decks do. There's a world where there are 5-0 decks playing playing stock up. Stock up to me, where it's getting played the most, is a deck like Painter. Now, notably, this is red Painter. Painter has been red for a very long time. Traditionally, so you're playing an Artifact Temple mid-range package. You got the Ursa Saga to find your Grindstone. You have Painter Servant as well. You're going to be playing Goblin Welder and Goblin Engineer as a way to tutor and recur your artifacts. You play a mid-range plan through Fable of the Mirror Breaker and recurring fun stuff like Chaos Defiler. If you've never Goblin Welder to Chaos Defiler, you have not lived. It's such a sweet combo. But regardless, it's kind of red-based mid-range. But more recently, to be able to stop the rise of oops all spells and the brokenness of the meta, Painter's actually opted to be more blue. And so blue-based Painter is the kind of marquee version of this deck right now. You're still playing Urza Saga, you're still playing the regular kind of Grindstone package, you're still Painter, but you're playing artifact. You're playing like the quote-unquote modern artifact package. Like you're playing like the Emerys and Tamios of the world to be able to feed your Mox Opals, your Lotus Petals. And then you're going to be using Thoughtcast to draw a bunch of cards and stock ups to be able to find the rest of your combos. So stock up can find Force of Wills, stock up can find your combo, stock up can find your mid-range pieces, your other counter spells like Metallic Rebukes. Stock up can do a lot here. Stock up, notably being blue, also in I should mention this for the modern deck as well, can pitch to Force of Negation, but also is blue to pitch to Force of Will. So being an all blue deck, playing artifacts, having a combo win, that's been like the thing in Legacy for a hot minute now, ever since Modern Horizons 3 and the printing of more untapped MDFCs. Oops All Spells has put pressure on the format to be able to be faster. You can't really be a long game grind out type control deck like the old kind of Miracles strategies. It's just not going to work. You need an I win button. And that's the beauty of a deck like this. Stock Up helps increase the quality of the cards that you're going to be drawing. It's not just hard draw like Thoughtcast. Thoughtcast you just can't get around because it's 1 mana draw 2, it's hyper efficient, but Stock Up allows you to select and grab the pieces you need, maybe find Force of Will plus Counterspell, or just the combo you need to win the game from there. Stock Up does a lot in Legacy and is the backbone of a key strategy that's been around in Legacy for a while, and one that notably is seeing an increase in play in that specific archetype as a subdivision because of the metagame pressures being put on it. It can't be red anymore, or it can be, it's just blue tends to be the favorite version if Oops All Spells is going to be at the top of the metagame. Because that deck can consistently win on turn 1 with protection backup. It's a little nuts, but largely that is what allows Stock Up to be a crazy $10 uncommon. It's a card that I think was unassuming. It's obviously never been printed anywhere else. Aether Drift is its first and only printing, and I think we're going to see a lot more versions of this card. I imagine with the success of this card, Wizards of the Coast is already trying to print up like alternate versions of this, alternate arts. We're probably going to see different treatments of Stock Up down the line. It's just going to be one of these key cards that made big waves in Magic at this time, and 2 to 3 years down the line, once the development cycle of certain cards come, probably about 1 to 2 if you're thinking of Secret Layers and how fast they likely pop them out, we will be seeing alternate versions of Stock Ups and quote unquote reprints that aren't really reprints that affect the price or whatever. But you can see that it has a variety of play in a variety of formats, low power to your consideration or high power in terms of eternal formats. Stock Up is as I've said for the 50th time, a high quality card that looks for other high quality cards. This card would be absolutely broken beyond all heck at instant speed, which is why it's fine as a sorcery. It's a better version of divination, and just providing you that selection is the key. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. How are you feeling about Stock Up? Where do you play Stock Up in your list? If you're a Pauper player, you're probably not playing Stock Up at all, but are you playing Stock Up in Modern? You likely are in some situations. In Legacy, I should also mention decks like Stifle Knot, which I don't really play, but I imagine a deck like Stifle Knot, which is a blue-based control strategy that has quality elements to it, probably is playing Stock Up. There are versions of blue-based decks that are playing it, so Legacy has its home for it, but in Standard, are you playing Is It Prowess, or are you just playing a deck looking to stop Is It Prowess, aka maybe something like Omniscience, especially with its recent win in the RC?